Hello, friends. Welcome to your reading lesson for today. We are on Module 3, Lesson 2, or Day 2 of our Wit and Wisdom lesson for this week. Yesterday, you read a new book called Feel the Wind with Miss Spears. Today, you are going to continue that lesson by wondering things about the text. Yesterday you did your notices and you should have inserted a picture on the slide, and today you're going to do the same thing and you'll notice it's opposite of yesterday. Here today we have an X in our notices because we did that yesterday. So you can either type in your wonders here on this box, or you can write it down in your journal and take a picture and insert it on this slide. Miss Spears will review some of our question words that we use whenever we're writing questions. And I have inserted a picture of our question cubes in case you don't have that from Module 1. That reminds us what some of our question words are. Try to mix it up a little bit. Don't just ask, I wonder why. Maybe try, I wonder how, or I wonder who. And mix it up a little bit with those question words, okay? All right. So she will read some parts of the text again, and you will be able to see it. Now, if you want to read the whole book again, don't forget it's linked on the first slide of your lesson. All right, friends, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, first graders, and welcome back to Wit and Wisdom in Sync. My name is Tanisha Spears, and I'm excited to jump into our lesson. But before we do, let's make sure you have your materials ready. For this lesson, you will need your copy of the text, Feel the Wind if you have one. You'll need your Wit and Wisdom in Sync journal and a pencil. Pause the video now if you need to gather your materials. In the previous video lesson, you made observations on what you noticed about the text, Feel the Wind by Arthur Dorrows. Today, you'll continue making observations by asking questions about what you wonder. Today, you will also learn more about the force of the wind. I want you to think back to the previous video lesson. What hand motion did you learn to represent force? What hand motion did you learn to represent force? Do you remember? I bet you do. I bet you remember pressing your hands together, palm to palm, like this. Try it with me. Ready? Excellent. Now, I want you to think. What did you learn about force? What did you learn about force? Think. Now, share with your learning partner, or just say it aloud if your learning partner is not available. The word force describes physical strength or power, and forces can pull or push, just like you use force to push your hands together. You're going to learn more about the force of the wind by continuing to work with the text, Feel the Wind. And the question that will frame our learning for today is, what do I notice and wonder about this text? In the last video lesson, you noticed details, and today you're going to ask questions. But before you ask your own questions, you're going to think about the purpose of asking questions. So think about this question. Why is asking questions important? One more time. Why is asking questions important? In our work today, you'll be thinking about why it is important to ask questions about a text. As you're trying to figure out what's happening in a text, you may need to ask for more information. And you should always feel comfortable asking a question about a detail you are confused about. If you're confused about something, it means that it's difficult to understand. One way to clear up confusion is to ask for more information. For example, one thing that may be confusing is when you hear a word you don't know. Listen to this quote. the sun's rays strike the equator directly. That's why it gets hotter there. I wonder, what does equator mean? What does equator mean? Now, I see the words sun and hotter close to the word equator. Could the equator be a place that is hot? What do you think? Now I want you to think. What words can we use to ask questions? What words can we use to ask questions? I'm sure you said it. Question words. These are question words that we have used in our previous modules. Let's review the words. Why, who, where, when, what, how. I am going to reread excerpts or small sections of the text, and you are going to use these words to come up with questions. Are you ready? I want you to listen carefully as I read aloud pages 5, 6, and 7. If you have the book, you can read along with me. Otherwise, you can follow along on the screen. As I am reading, I want you to think about what questions you have or if there was anything that was confusing. Listen carefully. Have you felt the wind blowing through your hair? Wind is moving air. Air is what we breathe. It is everywhere around us, even though we can't see it. We can't see air, and we can't really see the wind, but we can see the wind move things. Wind pushes clouds across the sky. Wind flutters the leaves of trees and makes ripples on lakes. You can hear the wind too. When wind blows through cracks in your house, it can sound like someone whistling. If the wind blows very hard, it can sound like a wild animal howling. What questions do you have? What is something that you wonder? Was there anything confusing? Here's something that I wondered. What makes wind? What makes wind? Now it's your turn. Write a question that you have about the text. The question could be about the pages I just read, or it could be a question about another section of text too. Are you ready? Pause the video now to write your question about the text in your journal. Remember, friends, sometimes we can find answers to our questions by reading more of the text. So I am going to continue reading pages 10 and 11 to try and answer my question. Remember, my question was, what makes the wind? Listen carefully. All of the earth is surrounded by air. Earth and the air around it are heated by the sun, but some parts of the earth heat up more than other parts. In the tropical parts of Earth, near the equator, the sun's rays strike the earth directly. The air gets very hot. Near the Earth's icy poles, the sun's rays strike at a slant, so the air stays cooler. When hot air and cold air change places, wind is made. North Pole, South Pole, and the equator. I think I heard something that could help me answer my question. Remember, my question was, what makes the wind? And on page 10, I saw a sentence that I think will help me answer my question. I learned that the wind is made when hot air and cold air change places. Now I'm going to keep reading to see if I can find out more about that. Listen as I read pages 12 and 13. Hot air is lighter than cold air, so hot air rises. People discovered this a long time ago and used hot air to make balloons float. The heated air in the balloons was lighter than the cooler air outside. The hot, light air made the balloons float upward. When heated air over the earth rises, cooler, heavier air rushes in to take its place. The moving air is wind. So this says that the wind is made when hot air rises or goes up and cool air comes in to take its place. I don't know about you, but I'm glad I found an answer to my question. Did you hear any answers to your questions? If not, that's okay. We'll be rereading more of this text over the next few lessons, so keep listening closely. All right, awesome first graders. Nice job asking questions about a new text and thinking about why asking questions is important. Next time, we'll continue with the text, Feel the Wind. But until then, be kind and do something great because you are capable of greatness.